let's talk about the moment and the exact spot where healing happens. When you hear spiritual teachers or books or talks or what have you talking about empowerment, this is what they're talking about. They are talking about that one moment where healing is possible. When I say moment, I mean the now moment, right? Now, why empowerment? Empowerment because in the now is when we have the ability to make a choice. You can't make a choice in the past. You can't make a choice in the future, right? Until you get there and it becomes the now, right? So when you make those choices, you have the most power. And why we do any healing work, why we uncover shadow, why we look at dreams, is so that we can release and remove all of the things, or as many as of the things that are possible to remove and release that are unconscious. Why? Because they are the ones that then, when they are unconscious, are driving your choices. Then your choices aren't conscious. You have free will. However, you are unable to utilize your free will. You are acting out of those unconscious choices. So simple examples would be, your parents always screamed at each other, and all you know is screaming as a way of communicating or even as a way of connecting, right? Then fast forward into your life, your now moments, you are screaming at your partner, or you're expecting your partner to scream at you, and you don't like it. I'm not saying it feels good. It feels terrible, but it's what you expect. And that means it becomes this choice. It's not actually a choice. It becomes an unconscious thing you keep reenacting that isn't actually a conscious decision. So that's why you do that work. That moment is why people have plant medicine journeys, right? Because what happens in a plant medicine journey, and by the way, I'm not at all pushing those. I think that is one tool. It is not the only tool. And I personally practice that as well. I don't think one should have more than a couple of plant medicine journeys a year at most. But why people do them, why they are so useful, is that they help loosen our resistances, loosen our defenses. So things that we've erected around ourselves to keep ourselves from seeing those unconscious beliefs that we have, on those unconscious processes, programs, that kind of thing. That is why we might go into a plant medicine journey to go see, like, wow, I didn't realize that I always thought of myself as worthless, right? People might not know that. So, however, this is available to all of us at any moment, at any moment. And this is why we need to be so honest with ourselves. I catch my clients and myself sometimes, but I notice this in my work a lot. People saying, I want to change this, but I can't. Oh, I couldn't do it. Right? Oh, there was this opportunity, but I couldn't do it. I know that's just a turn of phrase, but it also is a turn of phrase that indicates a belief, right? And so important. This is why it's not that words are so powerful, but that they indicate what we really believe about ourselves, or what we really believe about how humans function, how the world works, how the universe is, right? So when you say to yourself, I can't do this, or I couldn't do it, the honest thing to do is to catch it and go, wait, I could do it. I chose not to. It was too painful. It was too hard. Let's say you're trying to quit sugar, right? And somebody comes to work with a basket of whatever yumminess that is sweet. And you decide, you know what, this just never happens. I'm just going to have one. And then you say, oh, I really am trying to quit sugar. And right. And then later you say, I couldn't do it. It's not true. You could. You chose not to because, and be kind to yourself there. Be kind. Oh my gosh, be kind. Be honest, but be kind. You chose not to because you didn't want to, you chose not to be with the discomfort of choosing not to, right? It would have been uncomfortable. So this is why, radical honesty combined with radical compassion for yourself allows you to unpack this and release it and rework it so that, let's say next time you still have a challenge there and you still go, I'm just going to have the donut or the whatever, right? But you're not telling yourself, I couldn't. You're saying, I chose not to. And that's, again, if you release the shame around it, if you don't shame yourself, I should say, right, then it becomes an opportunity for you to acknowledge, wow, okay, I chose not to be with the discomfort. Well, is the discomfort really that bad? Is the discomfort really something that would be that uncomfortable? And the truth is, when most people choose to stay with the discomfort, it's not as bad as you think it's going to be. You might feel a little deprived. There's a feeling, right? You might feel a little uncomfortable in terms of, like, let's say social pressure or what have you. Somebody says, well, aren't you going to take a drink, or aren't you going to have that muffin, or come on, we're having birthday cake or whatever. You might have to deal with a little discomfort and saying, I'm not having sugar, right? But for most people, the discomfort isn't actually as bad as they imagine it's going to be. Why is that? It's because we imagine the worst, right? We imagine suffering, we imagine pain, because it's what we're biased to imagine. It's what we are biased around because it's a survival mechanism. We want to avoid pain. But if you slow it down, if you let yourself stay with, okay, what is it that I'm really avoiding? Let's say we'll stay with the same example of quitting sugar. What am I really avoiding? Is it the social pressure? Then can I have something ready to say to my colleagues or my friends who are, offering me the chocolate cake or whatever, right? Is it the feeling of deprivation? Well, then can you have compassion for yourself in terms of, let's say you had been deprived as a child or something, and that's what's coming up. Or is it like, you know what? I'm going to reframe that. I don't think of it as deprivation. This may be one of those places where it's not an actual feeling. It's the fear of a feeling. This is really important. A lot of people think that, that's what they're going to feel, but it's not actually how they feel. It's what they're afraid to feel. Now it's what we're talking about is fear. Right? Oh, I'm afraid I'm going to feel deprived. Well, are you really going to feel deprived, or is that a story? So I understand this gets complicated, but you get better at it. You get better at it over time. And this is why radical honesty and compassion with oneself is where you can come to that moment honestly. You can come to that space where you go, can I handle this discomfort in the service of why I'm choosing to or not do something, right? If you're not having sugar, or if you're choosing to exercise or what have you. That is empowerment. Do you see that? I really hope to be able to communicate this. That is empowerment. Empowerment comes in that one now moment when you are making a choice. And why people go into plant medicine is so that they would kind of force themselves into that moment. Now you're in a moment where the medicine is saying surrender. Now, surrender, interestingly, I thought about this a while, like, paradox, right? Is it a choice? It's a choice, because you are choosing to let go of your defenses and of your not limitations. What's the word I'm looking for? Your defenses and I don't remember the word now. I'll think of it later. I'm sure once I hit stop on the recording. But you are choosing to release your attachment. Maybe that's the word I was looking for. Your attachment, your defenses, your things that you've erected, your beliefs about yourself. You're saying, you know what? Maybe I don't know something. Maybe I'm fine. Just take me somewhere. That is a choice. That is your free will at work, at play, however you want to call it, right? That's why it's so, so crucial. I could probably talk about this for hours, but I really wanted to put together kind of a concise uh, space and talk about this so that you can gather just enough seeds that you might consider in your day-to-day life, where you have more empowerment available to you than you think. Sometimes it's in the recesses of your mind, how you think, how you believe about what's happening, what you believe about what's happening, what you believe about yourself, where the empowerment, the change, the healing that happens is not, out there in the world in the actual physical choices that you're making or the conversations you're having or the emails you're sending, but in an internal way that you are relating to yourself. So I will stop here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.